She was told, "You are the story of this tournament." Inside Alex Eala's wildest week yet, a billionaire just handed a 21-year-old from the Philippines the keys to his $260 million tennis palace. And buried inside her draw sits a name that could turn the whole thing into a soap opera. Stay with me, because by the end of this video you're going to understand why one of the richest men in tennis is betting his tournament's future on a single player, and why the next 2 weeks could be the most important of her career. Before we get into it, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're about to take you inside the numbers, the politics, and the quiet moments behind the scenes of the 2026 Cincinnati Open that most fans will never see. And trust me, you'll want to be here for the ending, because there's a twist in this story that even hardcore tennis fans are still trying to wrap their heads around. The buy that started it all. Let's set the scene. It's mid-August 2026, and the tennis world has rolled into Mason, Ohio, a quiet suburb of Cincinnati that most people couldn't find on a map 2 years ago. But right now, it's home to one of the last great tests before the US Open, the Cincinnati Open, a combined ATP and WTA 1000 event that's suddenly become the hottest ticket in American tennis. In the middle of that spotlight is Alex Eala, 21 years old, Filipina, and, according to the WTA's own rankings, the number 20 player on the planet. When the seeding list came out, her name was sitting at number 17, her highest seed ever at a 1000 level event, and proof that the last few months haven't been a hot streak. They've been a transformation, because a seed at this level means something very specific. It means Eala didn't have to play a single match on day one. While dozens of players were grinding through the qualifying rounds and the opening matches just to survive, Eala got to sit back, breathe, and watch the draw fall into place around her. That's the reward for being one of the top 32 players entered in the tournament. And it set up her first real test, a clash against either Poland's Magda Linette or Romania's Elena Gabriela Ruse for a place in the third round. On paper, that sounds simple. A seeded player easing into her tournament. But nothing about Alex Eala's 2026 season has been simple. And nothing about this particular tournament is simple either, because of who owns it, why he built it, and what he reportedly said to her before she'd even played a point. A $260 million bet on a small Ohio suburb. To understand why this tournament matters so much, you have to rewind to 2022, when a Charleston, South Carolina businessman named Ben Navarro bought the Cincinnati Open from the United States Tennis Association through his investment firm, BMO Capital. Navarro wasn't just buying a tournament. He was buying one of the most valuable pieces of real estate in professional tennis, one of only 9 combined ATP and WTA 1000 level events in the entire world, sitting just outside a mid-sized American city that most casual sports fans had never given a second thought. And then he did something nobody expected. Instead of packing up and moving the tournament to a bigger market, and there were serious rumors at one point about a $400 million relocation to Charlotte, North Carolina, Navarro doubled down on Mason, Ohio. He poured $260 million into completely rebuilding the Lindner Family Tennis Center from the ground up. We're talking an 11-month construction sprint. The footprint of the facility more than doubled, growing to over 40 acres. The number of courts jumped from 21 to 31. A brand new sunken stadium, Champions Court, was built to hold more than 2,300 fans. And at the center of it all sits a 56,000 square foot player clubhouse, the kind of facility usually reserved for the 4 Grand Slam tournaments, not a summer hardcourt warm-up event in the Midwest. When the renovated venue finally opened its doors in August 2025, it wasn't just players who noticed. World number 1 Aryna Sabalenka reportedly walked in and said she barely recognized the place compared to the year before. Venus Williams, returning to Cincinnati after several years away, called it nothing short of a tennis paradise. This wasn't a facelift. This was a statement. Ben Navarro had turned a small Ohio suburb into one of the crown jewels of the entire tennis calendar. And he'd done it with his own money, alongside public investment from the local government, betting that if you build something extraordinary, the biggest stars in the sport will come and stay. But here's the thing about building a $260 million palace. Eventually, you need someone to fill it with a story. And this year, all eyes are on the same player everyone in the sport has been talking about since Wimbledon. The rise nobody saw coming. So who exactly is Alex Eala? And why has her name suddenly become inescapable in tennis circles? Eala's breakthrough didn't happen overnight, but once it started, it snowballed fast. She reached the fourth round of Wimbledon for the first time in her career this year, a run that put her firmly on the radar of casual fans who'd never heard her name before. She followed that up with a semifinal appearance at the Berlin Open. Then, just weeks before Cincinnati, she won the Washington Open, capturing a WTA singles title on American soil and cementing her status as one of the form players heading into the North American hardcourt swing. She carried that momentum straight into the Canadian Open in Toronto, fighting her way to the round of 16 before Tokyo Olympic champion Belinda Bencic ended her run in straight sets. Not exactly the finish she wanted, but a solid, professional result against a proven veteran, and one more step up the rankings ladder. And that ladder has been climbing fast. Eala has now cracked the world's top 20 for the first time in her career. She currently sits 14th in the WTA race to the finals, the season-long standings that determine who qualifies for the prestigious year-end championship reserved for the top 8 players on tour. Making the WTA finals field this year would be a massive stretch, but a few months ago, nobody would have even considered it a possibility. Now it's a conversation people are actually having. There's also the historical weight of what she represents. Eala has already become the first Filipina player to win a WTA Tour singles title. She's the first player from the Philippines to reach a Grand Slam fourth round in the Open era. Every tournament she plays adds another line to a legacy that didn't exist in tennis until she started writing it herself. And that legacy travels with an audience most tournaments would kill for. When Eala played in Toronto, tickets for her matches reportedly sold out in a matter of minutes. Filipino fans turned parts of the stadium into a wall of flags and chants, the kind of raw, organized passion you'd expect at a football match, not a mid-tier tennis event. It's the same phenomenon that's followed her across the tour all year, a diaspora that has proven, again and again, that it will show up in force wherever she plays. Now picture that energy landing inside a freshly built $260 million tennis palace in Ohio. That's the collision Ben Navarro is banking on. The story everyone's talking about. Here's where things get interesting, and where you need to keep your skepticism dial turned up, because this part of the story is still murky. In the days after the Cincinnati draw was released, clips and posts began circulating online claiming that Ben Navarro was personally spotted speaking with Alex Eala shortly after her seeding and first round bye were confirmed. According to those accounts, Navarro told her something along the lines of, "You are the story of this tournament." A line that, true or not, spread through tennis social media within hours. Now, to be clear, neither Navarro nor Eala's team has issued any official statement confirming that exact exchange took place. There's no verified interview, no press conference quote, nothing on the record from either side. What we do know for certain is the broader picture that made the claim believable enough to spread in the first place. And that picture is compelling all on its own. We know Navarro has spent years studying the economics of exactly this kind of moment. We know his tournament, fresh off its biggest investment in history, needs a breakout storyline to justify that spending to fans, sponsors, and the tour itself. And we know that Eala's presence in a draw has, time and again, translated directly into ticket sales, media attention, and a level of crowd energy that money alone can't buy. Whether or not that exact private conversation happened word for word the way it's being described online, the underlying dynamic is real. A tournament owner who just spent $250 million rebuilding his venue has every incentive in the world to make sure the sport's fastest rising star feels like the center of his tournament. Call it strategy, call it business, call it whatever you want. But it's not hard to see why the rumor took off the way it did. A father, a daughter, and a draw that could collide. But there's a layer to this story that makes it even more complicated, and it has nothing to do with rumors. Ben Navarro isn't just the owner of the Cincinnati Open. He's also the father of Emma Navarro, the American professional who has spent the last 2 years establishing herself as one of the most consistent players on the WTA Tour, reaching as high as world number 11 in the rankings. In this year's Cincinnati draw, Emma Navarro enters as a seeded player as well, positioned in the same 96-player women's bracket as Eala. That means there's a real, mathematically possible path, not a guarantee, but a genuine possibility depending on how both women perform, for Ben Navarro's daughter and the player he's been so publicly supportive of to end up facing each other on the court he personally rebuilt. Sit with that for a second. If both players keep winning, the man who owns the tournament could find himself watching his own daughter walk out onto Champions Court to play the very same rising star he's reportedly been championing off the court. That's not just a subplot. That's the kind of storyline documentary filmmakers dream about. And it's sitting right there in the bracket, waiting to unfold in front of thousands of fans and a national television audience. Whether that meeting actually happens depends entirely on both women winning several rounds first. Nothing is decided, but the possibility alone has tennis fans buzzing, because it turns every one of Eala's matches and every one of Navarro's matches into appointment viewing. Every win pulls the bracket one step closer to that potential collision. The business behind the belief. Let's step back for a moment and talk about why a billionaire would care this much about one 21-year-old player in the first place. Because this isn't sentiment. This is strategy. Ben Navarro made his fortune in credit and financial services before pivoting into sports ownership. That means he understands markets, audiences, and return on investment better than almost anyone in the tennis business. And what he's watched happen around Alex Eala over the past year isn't just a good story. It's a measurable economic phenomenon. Every time Eala plays, ticket demand spikes in a way that's hard to manufacture through traditional marketing. The Filipino tennis fan base, spread across the diaspora in North America, has shown up in force wherever she competes, buying tickets, filling hotel rooms, generating the kind of grassroots, organic buzz that sponsors pay enormous sums of money to try to fake. For a tournament that just staked $260 million on the bet that Cincinnati could become a true destination event. One that fans plan vacations around, not just a stop players fly in and out of. That kind of built-in audience is priceless. Eala isn't just a good tennis story. She's a business asset in the truest sense, and Navarro knows it. That's really what's driving this entire narrative, whether the exact quote about her being the story of this tournament was said word for word or not. The underlying truth is undeniable. A rising star with a passionate, mobile fan base has arrived at exactly the moment a billionaire owner needed one to justify his investment. It's a mutually beneficial relationship, whether either side frames it that way publicly or not. Playing for seven figures. Now let's talk about what's actually on the line here, because the numbers involved in this tournament are staggering, and they tell their own story about how far women's tennis has come. The 2026 Cincinnati Open is offering a total women's prize pool of $7,433,076. That's a jump of more than 44% compared to the previous year's total purse. For the very first time in the tournament's history, the women's singles champion will take home a seven-figure paycheck, $1,085,220 for lifting the trophy. The runner-up isn't walking away empty-handed either, with a finalist share of $564,920. A semifinal finish is worth $297,315. Even making it to the quarterfinals nets a player $154,210. And for a seeded player like Eala, advancing through her opening match into the third round would be worth $47,375 on its own, with a run to the fourth round bumping that figure up to $81,752. Every single round Eala advances doesn't just build momentum, it builds her bank account and her ranking points in equal measure. As a WTA 1000 event, Cincinnati is handing out 1,000 ranking points to whoever lifts the trophy, with substantial points awarded at every stage along the way. For a player sitting at world number 20 and trying to climb into that coveted top 16, every match here matters enormously, both for her wallet and for her position heading into the US Open, the final Grand Slam of the season. And that's really the bigger picture here. Cincinnati isn't just a payday. It's the last major tune-up before Flushing Meadows. Whatever happens over these 2 weeks in Ohio will shape the seeding, the confidence, and the momentum Eala carries into the biggest stage in American tennis just days later. What happens next? So where does this leave us? Alex Eala walks into her first match of the tournament against either Magda Linette or Elena Gabriela Ruse, carrying a number 17 seed, a number 20 world ranking, and, depending on who you believe, the personal endorsement of the man who just spent $260 million rebuilding the court she's about to play on. Win that match, and the road only gets tougher and more interesting. Somewhere further down the bracket sits Emma Navarro, the daughter of the tournament's owner, seeded to potentially cross paths with Eala if both of them keep winning. Win enough matches, and Eala could find herself not just competing for a life-changing prize check, but standing across the net from the one player in this draw whose father has staked his tournament's reputation on her story. Every round from here forward adds a new layer of tension. Every win pulls the bracket tighter. And every step Eala takes through this tournament either confirms the billionaire's bet or complicates it in ways nobody, including Ben Navarro himself, can fully predict. What we do know is this: the Cincinnati Open needed a story to justify its $260 million transformation. Right now, whether by design, coincidence, or genuine belief, that story has Alex Eala's name written all over it. And whether she goes 1 round or 7, the tennis world is going to be watching every single point. If you want to see how this plays out, whether that dream matchup with Emma Navarro actually happens, whether Eala keeps climbing the rankings, and whether this really does turn into the defining storyline of the entire US Open lead-in. Make sure you're subscribed, because we'll be covering every twist as this tournament unfolds. Drop a comment letting us know if you think Eala can go all the way in Cincinnati, and we'll see you in the next one.